Hello there, world builders. Today we're going to be going over how to make characters for your inner world. Now, some of you may already have an idea of what your characters will look like before even starting your story. And if that's the case, then good for you. That's awesome. But most of us don't have that luxury. So today, I'm going to teach you how to figure out how to create ideas to create characters for your world building. I'll give you step-by-step tutorials and examples using the fantasy genre. But feel free to use these methods for whatever genre you're writing in. First, let's talk about race. Now, in fantasy, you can either go with established fantasy races or create your own. For example, orcs, elves, and dwarves are all well established, have been written about extensively, and readers know what to expect from them. If you're new to world building or don't want to deal with the baggage certain races have, then using an established race is probably your best bet. However, if you want to do something more unique, then creating your own race is the way to go. Just make sure you're consistent with how you portray them and that you avoid harmful stereotypes. A fun way to come up with a unique race is to take two or more existing races and combine them, or take an existing race and mutate it. For example, I took the mermaid and the witch and made the Merrow, a race of evil mermaids who worship a sea witch and use dark magic. Next, let's talk about species. I don't mean species as in animal species, but species as in a categorization system used to separate the different races in your world. For example, in Narnia, there are 4 main species: human, talking animal, dwarf, and giant. This is helpful when creating characters because it allows you to quickly sort them into a group. Knowing this gives the reader immediate context on how other characters will treat them. For example, in Narnia, the talking animals are treated as equals, whereas the dwarfs are seen as savage beasts. It also helps with world building because it allows you to make sweeping generalizations about certain groups of people. Of course, individual members of a species can defy these stereotypes, but that's what makes them individuals. The main thing to remember with species is to not make it too complicated. Just keep a few categories and stick to them. In addition, it allows you to explore different perspectives on the world. Next, let's talk about personality. A great way to come up with a character's personality is to think about what role they play in the story. Are they the hero? Are they the sidekick? Are they the villain? Once you figure out what role the character will play, you can start to develop their personality traits accordingly. For example, if they're the hero, they're probably going to be brave and selfless. If they're the sidekick, they're probably going to be funny and loyal. And if they're the villain, they're probably going to be cruel and power-hungry. Finally, let's talk about appearance. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's pretty much up to your own imagination. However, there are a few things to keep in mind. First, try to be original. There are so many generic characters in fiction, so try to create someone who is a little bit different. Second, don't forget the little details. And finally, remember that your character's appearance should reflect their personality. All right, now that you know how to create characters, go out there and create your own unforgettable characters.